This crowd lost their shit as if this was LL Cool J. And they have two just random dudes racing the cow.
It's the world's fastest cow. Come on.
It's some dude dressed as a cow who clearly used to be a track and field star at the university and couldn't get a job elsewhere because the job market sucks. So he was like, you know what? Put me in a cow costume. Yeehaw, it's Calgary. This crowd, I swear, I thought the game was like, I thought maybe I missed something, like I zoned out and came back and the score was going to be closer. And then on top of that, Jake Mayer and the Stampeders come back and they make a game of it. They're within a touchdown, and there's 8 minutes or so, and all of a sudden there's about 30 people in our section, not just the arena, our section, that get up and leave. And I don't understand it. Want to beat the traffic? This isn't Calgary! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June 26th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Jake Hughes, and alongside me, the old man. How the hell are you doing today?
Holy crap! What was that?
What, the intro, the kerfluffle, or the
intro kerfuffle?
Stumbling over my own words, or how everything combined together?
It was like, holy crap and doodle. People couldn't see me, but I'm doing this. I'm like, cut it. And Jake's like, cut it? Huh? That's the stumble coming in.
Yeah, because I was trying to wait right to 7 o'clock. I was trying to hold off that maybe the sound would get better. But here we are.
It's good. It's 7 o'clock. We're on the air. We have listeners. If you're listening, let us know where you're listening from. We love to hear where we're reaching out to and who's your favorite team. Obviously, by my background and by Jake's background, you can tell who our favorite teams are.
CFL. See, it lives here.
It lives here. We are fans of the CFL.
Fans of the CFL. We got a big show today. Normally, I like to do like a little bit of warm-up preamble.
Big show.
But we have a big show. We got the CFL Week 3 to get into, and then we also have this little thing called the NHL Draft happening on Wednesday, and then we also have Free Agent Frenzy on Saturday, and we have qualifying offers due on Friday, and it's a long weekend, so there's a game on Monday next week.
Oh, really?
The BC Lions are playing on Monday next week.
But there's no game on Sunday. There's only 3 games this week.
It's weird. Whoever designed the schedule deserves to not be hired to make the schedule again.
It's kind of bizarre to me. It really is. It was one of those, huh? You doing what? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would make sense. Like, I guess you're getting 2 buys out of the way on the same week, but it doesn't make sense this early in the season.
No.
No, it doesn't really make sense, period, because now you're getting 3 teams taking buys on 1 week. Because there's always a team that has a bye, and then you're not playing a game, so that's 3 teams that aren't playing.
That's true, yes.
Which means there has to be another week where there's 3 teams that aren't playing to balance out the schedule. Either way, the fact that you're
probably going to be Labor Day.
Labor Day, you should be having a full slate of games on Labor Day.
Well, they're not on Canada Day, so.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the schedule? I know we got a really big show, but I don't know if I'm a fan of this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday football days. And I'm going to explain why.
I would love to argue this with you, but yes,
I have a life, and I can't watch all 4 games. It's an impossibility. I tried. I had to give up. You and I couldn't watch Sunday's game. We couldn't because but that's going to happen no matter what. But if it's like if they do doubleheaders on Friday, they do a Thursday doubleheader on Friday and a Sunday. That's perfect.
So
leave your Saturday open.
You're going to start a doubleheader at 4:00 Pacific time
on a Friday.
Start the next game at 7:30 Pacific time. No, because if you're starting a game at 5, your late game isn't until 8.
That's true.
8:30. Give yourself a bumper.
How about Sunday doubleheaders?
Sunday doubleheaders you could, but
Triple headers on a Sunday even.
You never have as a CFL. So you want to condense, just do all 4 games on Sunday.
That would be perfect.
I don't think there's enough time to have everything not overlap and not go until
it would be tough. Okay.
Really late on a Sunday.
So let's do Thursday night and Sundays. Just for the beginning of the season until the NFL starts, and then go back to your regular scheduled programs of Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, when this NFL starts up, you're not doing Thursdays, you're doing Friday, Saturdays.
Right. So there
you're
go.
You're doing 2 and 2.
Okay, problem solved.
What? Why don't you? So you just don't like it because you can't watch it all because you pretend to have friends and have to do things.
No, it's because the boss downstairs kind of gets angry when we watch football 4 nights a week. She likes her football. She likes her football. But 4 nights a week for 21 weeks is a lot.
But it's not. It's not 4 nights a week for 21 weeks. Because
what you're talking about, Willis?
They're not doing Thursday night games and Sunday night games into October. I know they'll do them in August. I haven't looked ahead to the schedule that much. That's your responsibility.
Is it?
Yeah, you're the CFL guy.
Why do I always have to do all the hard stuff? You get to just sit around and rely on me to do all the hard work.
So are you trying to pick a fight tonight? Oh, and now he's just gone. I guarantee you, he clicked the button in his haste of trying to figure out everything. He clicked the button and he disappeared. He clicked the button and he was like, I don't know what I just did. Panic, everyone, because he does so much work on the computer. He doesn't know what happens.
I froze. It's because I have my computer working so hard that it froze.
So you would much rather see doubleheader on Friday night, doubleheader on Saturday, or what are you doing? I think the point he's trying to get at 7.5 minutes into this conversation, and he's gone again, is that he wants to see a doubleheader on Friday and a doubleheader on Saturday. I don't know why he wants to see football that way.
Now I heard you talking about me, young fella.
So
get off my lawn.
So you want 2 days of doubleheaders versus 4 nights of football.
Yeah, because look at week 5 is 4 nights. I skipped week 4 because it's only 3 nights. But week 5 is 4 nights. Week 6 is 4 nights. Week 7 is 4 nights. Week 8 is 4 nights. Week 9 into August is 4 nights.
Good.
10, 11, 12, 13, 4. Nope.
13.
Oh, week.
So week 14?
Week 14, we have 1 game on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Labor Day. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the heck they did. And then 3 games on Saturday.
Sorry, on Labor Day, we're having 3 games on Saturday?
We have an 11 a.m. It's Montreal at Toronto. And then 2 p.m. you got the classic Riders Bombers. And then you got the Labor Day Classic Calgary Edmonton at 5 o'clock.
You're
on the Saturday.
So you're not having any Monday night games on Labor Day?
Oh, sorry. I messed that up. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I was very confused.
Yes. No. I apologize. Peoples who are listening, I apologize. Labor Day weekend, you have 1 game on Saturday, 1 game on Sunday, and 2 games. It's still 5 o'clock on Monday. That's really weird.
Yeah,
the Calgary game is 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so that's great.
1:30 and 5.
Yeah, that's great.
Is it?
You're wrapped up before the kids have to go to bed before they're going back to school the next day.
Oh, I guess so. That's first day back to school. Fine.
It's back to normal for people with families.
But then,
and if I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw this out here. If you're McMahon Stadium, and I know we're not because we would run a way better ship than they run. If you're not advertising this as a buy 2 adult tickets, get 2 kid tickets for free, you're doing something wrong.
You know they won't do that.
I know they won't.
You know what? We should actually you should send that clip, what you just said, clip it out of YouTube and send it to me. I will email that to Jay McNeil, president of the Calgary Stampeders. I think that's what he is. I can't remember his title. Anyway, I'll say, you know what? Correct. Why don't you do this? The stadium's half empty anyways. Don't tell me Labor Day is going to be any different, because the Rider game wasn't any different. So it's Edmonton coming in, who's probably going to be winless coming into that game.
That too, but also the Edmonton or the Rider game was better. They had a paid attendance of 24,000, which was way better than the 18,000.
I like the way you said paid attendance.
I am a wrestling fan, as you're a wrestling fan. There's a difference between the number of people that actually show up and the number of people who pay tickets.
Yes. There was maybe 20,000 there. Really?
That's still decent for what they have been getting.
So the following week, there's 3 games on Saturday, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m.
That's okay.
Isn't that crazy? I like it.
I don't, but I have so I get it. You look at it, you look at the 4 days and you're like, I have something to do. I can take one of those days and I can do something.
Yeah.
I look at the Saturday that you just said there's 3 games on, and I can't do anything on that Saturday now. That Saturday is written off. If I want to watch 6 teams play football, I have to take that Saturday off completely.
Well, that's the only Saturday they do that.
I don't care if it's
from that week on. It's doubleheaders Friday, doubleheader Saturday, doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday.
Because that's when NFL picks up.
And you know what? That's perfect. I don't mind that.
So then, but you need to capitalize. You got to realize you got to capitalize on the Thursday night audience and the Sunday night audience. And I was talking about this with a friend this past week. The CFL rights in Canada are up in the end of the 2025 season, I believe, correct?
Yeah, going into the 2026, I believe you're right.
So starting in 2024, so at the end of the season, most of the time you can start your negotiations with TSN and other companies. Right? I think that the CFL, if they're smart, and I'm really saying if they're smart, because I do believe that Randy Ambrosie has some really great ideas, just don't put them in front of a microphone. That's what did you laugh? It's 100% true. The guy,
it's true.
He's very well spoken, but the problem is he says things that gets people in trouble.
He literally said, he held a news conference this week.
Yep.
And literally said, when they asked him about the stats, there was no mistake made.
Yeah, there are no mistakes. I don't care who you are. That's a lie. That's an outright lie.
People who have been involved in the league for 20 plus years are saying it's an F up.
Yeah.
You have announcers, literal color and not the color guys for radio stations of certain teams saying it's an F up and getting in trouble because he said it.
Yeah.
You have everybody, when you have everybody admitting it's an F up, except the CFL, you have an issue because they won't accept. If he would have come out and said, hey, look, we messed up. We're really sorry. We thought this was going to work right from the start, and we screwed it up. We're going to get better by the end of this month. Beginning of July, we're going to be set to go. Guess what? I would have been like,
perfect. You know what? That's the response. Fans could have been like, you know what? They made a mistake. They understand it, but
they owned it.
They owned it and said, we're getting better.
How many times when you were growing up, sorry, I'm looking for something and I can't find it and it's bugging me. How many times as a kid growing up, I said, Jake, you're going to make mistakes in life. The best thing you can do is own those mistakes, admit there was mistakes, and move on. Because we all are going to make mistakes in life.
And you know what? The best thing you can do is, whether it be a workplace, to a family member, you go hand in hand and say, look, I fucked up.
Sorry.
My apologies.
Me bad. That was Jake's line for like years. Me bad. What was Amanda's? Good girls do bad things. It was a thing. Let's get into it.
Sorry, no. You cut me off in my conversation.
Oh,
I was talking to a friend that because the rights are going to be up at the end of this season, or there should be able to negotiate at the end of this season.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't surprise me for Amazon to want to pick up some games. They already have Thursday Night Football for the NFL.
Oh, do they?
They do. They own the rights to the NFL Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that'd be
They have
cool.
the infrastructure in place. Now, if Amazon comes to you and says, hey, we want you to start 6 weeks earlier so we can carry your games, have Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night games, but we need you to start 6 weeks earlier. Do you do it?
So you want to start in March?
In my opinion, you start at the end of March.
Then you got May, you got 21 weeks. That's 5 months. You're saying end of March?
End of March. So you got May, June,
April,
July, August, September.
April, May, June, July, August. You're playing your playoffs in September?
Yep. And your Labor Day is now Grey Cup.
No, Labor Day couldn't be Grey Cup.
I think you can work it out to be that way. You would start the last week of March then.
Yeah. That'd be tough. It'd be
why?
I don't know. It could be. Then you're like a spring summer league.
You're not competing with the NFL. You have the best months to be playing football. You've got the early spring. You don't have negative 30-degree weather to be playing the Grey Cup in. Because let's face it, CFL fans and older CFL fans, your generation and older, it's part of the game. It makes you tougher. No, it's bullshit. I shouldn't have to sit outside in a parka with heated seats and be still cold to watch football.
Got a point. I can't argue it. You're making sense. I hate when you do that. Would you stop that?
And then, again, Labor Day, you make it a big event. You have the game on Sunday. You have a Monday for everyone to travel home. If the money's right, I'm saying hell yeah.
Well, yeah, if the money's right? Because TSN would, but the only problem then is, you're avoiding, well, I was going to say you're avoiding the NFL, but you're cutting it more into the NHL.
Is the NHL competition for the CFL?
Oh, everybody's competition.
Is on a Saturday night,
you're watching
Canucks versus Oilers, you're watching hockey. No matter what, you're a diehard CFL fan.
Yeah, that's true. But then what do I do? Do I watch a Canuck game? Do I watch an Oilers game?
So then you do Thursday, Friday, Sundays.
Yeah?
Doubleheader on Fridays, do a single game on Thursday, single game on Sunday.
You can make it work.
American fans are born and bred to know Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. We don't do Monday nights. There's not enough teams in Canada. I don't think it would work.
No.
But you do Thursday nights. You keep your Friday night doubleheader because to me that is the essence of what summer football should be. And then you get Sunday. I
like it. Send it out.
I think it's something doable. But let's jump into this past week.
Let's jump into it. Man, we're going to make this anyway, go ahead.
You might notice something here.
What was that noise?
The car's outside. It's fine. We don't have stats because I don't trust any of the stats up on the CFL website. So the first game of the night on Thursday, we had the BC Lions in Winnipeg dominating 30-6 victory.
That's all I can do. If you're not watching, I just got a big ass smile. Hey, Smurf Mafia, how did that feel? I bet you that one hurt just a little bit.
Well, no, because I didn't. But the Hughes Sports Podcast didn't know what we were talking about when we put out our rankings, our power rankings. Of course not. I mean, point differential doesn't matter. They put up 48 points a game.
They were
allowed 52 points
Winnipeg was going to walk all over us, and we were going to be taught a lesson. We, being the HughesSports.ca, was going to be taught a lesson. Even people who have been in the business 20 plus years, who have broadcast CFL games for 20 plus years, were like, they didn't say anything, but they're in their head. They were, and they admitted it. Oh my goodness. What have they done?
Now, I am biased. I am a Lions fan.
No. Really?
But, and I messaged you, and I literally, and we talked about it when we released the power rankings last week. I texted you and I talked to you because to me, there was a case for both teams to be number one.
Yes.
The point differential matters. And I know people don't understand that. Point differential matters because, yeah, the Blue Bombers have great offense. Their defense was not great. They allowed Saskatchewan to hang in there.
That's what my point was, is when you're looking at a power rankings and the people are like, oh, you can't pay attention to the standings. Well, you have to pay attention to the standings to a little bit. What you have to pay attention to more is you can't compare the Lions to Winnipeg because they hadn't played each other. Correct. You had to compare the Lions to the teams they played compared to Winnipeg on the teams they played. And now, who performed better against the teams they played? The Lions did by a long shot.
And now the argument there on there was a couple civil human beings on the Facebook comments. Not a lot, but there were a couple. And their big thought,
interweb.
Their thoughts were BC beat Edmonton and BC beat Calgary. Edmonton, everyone knows where Edmonton is in the standings. They're at the bottom. We knew they were going to be there. Calgary, everyone thought they had a chance. As soon as I brought up that fact, they were like, well, no, but Calgary sucked this year. Yeah, they sucked because they played us. Let's put that in perspective. Calgary looked really bad because they played us. Look at the game this past week. Calgary versus Saskatchewan. That was a very close game.
Yes.
So Calgary and Saskatchewan are here. And Winnipeg made the Rough Riders, the Saskatchewan, look like contenders. They were almost even until the fourth quarter.
Yes.
The Lions made the Stampeders look like they could be competing with the Elks.
Yes. And that's what we actually said after that game was it's going to come down to who's going to be in fourth place. Now it's going to battle. I think Saskatchewan, Calgary will battle for third.
Yeah.
It was funny how quiet the Smurf Mafia was this week. They were humbled.
That's nice.
I mean, I have been watching football for 50 plus years. And I keep saying 50 plus. I'm 50, going on 59. I don't remember not watching my BC Lions. We grew up just down the road from the old Empire Stadium. We used to go as kids. So, having said that, I don't think I've ever seen a more dominant defensive game in my entire life. In every aspect defensively, we shut down what was supposed to be the number one offense in the league. They had scored 1 million points in each game. Oh my God, how can you put them number two when they scored all these? We held them to 0 touchdowns.
0 touchdowns. They scored two field goals in the first half, nothing in the second half.
So following the logic of most Bomber fans last week, field goals don't count. Because that's what they said about the BC game. If it wasn't for Sean White kicking 5 field goals, well,
who cares? Sorry,
Sean White kicked 5 field goals because BC's offense put him in position to kick 5 field goals.
Not just that. Not just BC's offense. BC's defense put them in a position to kick five field goals.
They are by far the best defensive team I have seen.
See, now I want to argue
a team out. They shut a team out.
I want to argue that. And I do, because I think there's another BC Lions team that in your lifetime that was just as good, if not better.
Whom?
And that was 20. I want to say 2010. I could have been 2011.
You're talking back when we had Big Hill and Aluminum. Cameron Wake. So
that might have been 09. I don't remember what year it was.
Whatever year that was.
We had Cameron Wake.
That was a great secondary of our defense. This time, I honestly think, as a whole, our defensive coach,
Ryan Phillips,
has this unit playing The best I've ever seen.
But Ryan Phillips was a part of that unit.
He was a part of that
2009, with Mark Washington and
yes.
I believe I don't know if Tad Cornegay was on that team.
Go back
or not.
and look. I don't think they ever shut a team out.
I think it was very different. I believe that defense was the most powerful defense you've ever seen in the CFL.
I would put this one up against them.
I would put him against them. I would say the one with Cameron Wake, because it was Cameron Wake, gives you that.
You just got a blank for Cameron Wake.
Yeah, like a five-time Pro Bowler in the NFL. Yeah.
He's your hall pass, isn't he? He's your hall pass.
Just because you have Louis as your hall pass doesn't mean all of us have football players as our hall pass. But moving on, because again, we have a supposedly big show that we want to get done in an hour. Friday night's game, the Montreal Alouettes at Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Alouettes win by a score of 28-12. And I will be honest, I don't remember watching this game.
I do, and I remember it because of who didn't play. Mr. Bo Levi, four down Bo.
To be fair, we were at an event with the Rod Peterson show in Calgary for this game, so it was very hard to watch the game while interacting with people. And
so it was interesting to see. And if you like reading, Jake's going to be posting my article here probably tonight, I would think, with the review of week 3. Or did you already post it?
No, it might be a little bit later than that.
Okay, so it might be tomorrow?
Might be tomorrow.
Okay, whenever it gets posted, I talked about this game. It's a weird game. If you look at this, literally don't pay attention to the score and just strictly look at the stats of the game.
If they're accurate,
I have to go by what's there. You would swear Hamilton would have won this game. They had more yards, their completion, like everything was tilted.
They won the turnover game.
Huh?
They won the turnover game. They did everything except put the ball in the end zone, I guess. So again, we kind of half watched it, but Montreal's now undefeated. 3 undefeated teams in the league now going into week 4. So there's only one team that is 3-0. The other 2 are 2-0.
I like Schiltz, the QB for Hamilton, who's replacing Bo. He kind of reminds me of what Mayer did when he came in for an injured Bo and kind of showed everybody some glimpses of awesomeness. But you got to put the ball in the end zone, and he didn't do that. Or get it in position to kick a field goal. Wink, wink. And he didn't do that. But he did get a ton of yards. So I think give this guy another week, maybe 2. And I think you'll see Hamilton put some wins together.
Or is the team surrounding Bo Levi and Schultz just not good enough?
And that
is a valid question.
Yes, and it is. That's a valid question. Time's going to tell. Now, you got to remember, they were going up against the Montreal Alouettes with Cody Fajardo, who I think personally is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Last year was an anomaly. Last year was not Cody's fault. It was a team fault. The Riders sucked last year. Their offensive line was non-existent. Cody can't throw the ball when he's sitting on his butt. So I think Alouettes are going to be fighting 1-2 with Toronto in the East. And I think Hamilton is going to be fighting for that 3rd spot.
I mean, I predicted that Hamilton would have a better year this year. The way Bo Levi looked, don't get me wrong. I want to put a lot of blame on Bo Levi. I can't believe he has fallen off that hard over the last 2 years. I can't. It's impossible for me to believe that a guy with that much talent has fallen off that hard, whether it be physically or mentally.
I think it's a little bit of both.
And I think, and you really touched on it last week, talking about you believe it's a mental thing from Bo Levi.
Yeah. You get hit as many times as a quarterback gets hit, you start hearing footsteps. It becomes a mental game.
That'll be a conversation I would love to have if we can get a quarterback on at one point.
Let's do it. Let's work on that.
Yeah, find a quarterback that we can bring on the show and ask them those questions.
It would have to be an alumni, because I don't think a starting quarterback would admit.
I would never ask a starting quarterback that question.
Yeah, but alumni, we'll get somebody who's retired. Let me put that out there in the universe and see what we can get. I have an idea.
Exactly. So then after this game, Saturday night, a game that I actually had a lot of fun watching because I only watched the second half. Was the Saskatchewan Roughriders going into Calgary and pulling out a 3-point win in a very stupid game.
And Jake's still mad it was 3 points and not 3.5. For people who bet on sports can understand why.
Yeah, I took the live match game as soon as Saskatchewan scored the touchdown early in the third quarter to put themselves on the board. And I saw that line of 3.5, and I said, "This is going to be a 4 or 5 point game. I'm taking the points."
Well, it's you said you only watched the second half. Well, so did everybody, because
so I was going to say so did the players. The players didn't show up till the second half.
First half was dismal, to say the least. Dismal.
I took
score a nap was 6-3 at halftime.
I took a nap during that time, and judging by what people were saying on Twitter, I won that trade-off there.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was dismal. But they came out in the second half and put on a performance. I'll say that. Was there some questionable decisions?
Questionable decisions. As long as they're not incisions, we're fine. Questionable. There was
so anybody that follows either Jake and I know we're huge fans of the Rod Peterson Show. If you love podcasts, go back and listen to the Rod Peterson Show for today and hear what he said the decisions were. It was the funniest thing I've heard Rod say on the air.
I was working away, had him in my ear, just kind of blah blah blah, and he said it, and I look at my phone, being like, "What did he just say?" But
I literally jumped out of my seat and went, Are we still on the air?
So for those who didn't watch the game, for those who missed it completely, the Rough Riders had the ball with 30 seconds left? 20 seconds left?
A minute 18 left. Are you talking at the end of the game?
The field goal, the field goal they should have kicked.
They had it because the Stampeders took over with a minute 18 left.
So they were up by 3.
Up by 3.
With a minute 18 left. It was 3rd and 6, I believe, from the 6-yard line.
9. 3rd and 6 from the 9-yard line.
30. So you had a chance to get a first down or score a touchdown.
Yes.
You didn't need to score a touchdown to get a first down. However, you're up by 3 with a minute 18 left. A minute 18. And Craig Dickinson, the older brother, what I would hope to be.
Is he the older brother?
Yep. Craig Dickinson is older than Dave. Look at the hairline.
Older. Dave looks way older.
Look at the hairline. Dave is a couple years younger. It's still.
Is he really? Well, go ahead. Finish that story.
Craig Dickinson decides, instead of kicking for 3 points, which I normally am vehemently against. Normally, I'm the go for it guy, because if you go for it, you're going to keep them deep in their end zone, or in their zone, near their end zone.
Yeah.
You kick those points and you make Calgary go down the field and have to score a touchdown. Sure, now they score a touchdown, they win the game, more than likely.
But they score a touchdown, they win the game anyway.
Precisely. And sure enough, they go for it. They lose. They turn over on downs. Calgary then marches down the field. Rene Paredes matches his longest kick of his life at 53 yards. Rene Paredes, let's all jumble over him. 53 whole yards.
Hold it. You know how much of a fan of kickers I am.
Yep.
That little man, he's a little guy. That ball could have gone through, if he would have kicked it 70 yards, that ball would have, it sailed outside the end zone.
It might have had the distance, but does he have the accuracy at that?
It was dead center.
Because
53 yards dead center. That was an amazing kick by the kid.
Correct, 100%. But you've seen kickers who, like Louis, like Paredes, who will hit a 53-yarder perfectly down the line, move that back 5 yards to 58, and they're hooking it left or right because they have to put more power behind it.
DJ Streams says the greatest kicker to play the game? No. Ah! No.
That's what.
He is
What are
not
you
the
talking about?
greatest kicker.
What are you talking about? Calgary. That's what Calgary says. He's the greatest kicker alive. He's got 500 field goals. That's like 1,500 points
now. 502, I think it is.
Oh, because the game continued and they just kept kicking field goals.
Yes.
Until the overtime. But continue. Sorry, go ahead with your greatest kicker of all time.
Look over my right shoulder. This guy is the greatest kicker of all time.
Sorry, I'm not wearing I'm not
875 field goals.
Sorry, I'm just
the
talking about 1
most
second.
Points scored in pro football at 3,981.
Time out. Sorry,
yes, I can rattle those stats off the top of my head.
Sorry, does that say hall pass on the top of that jersey or
bite me? Beep. Beep. So no, is Paredes a great kicker? There's no doubt about it, but he's not the greatest of all time. Is he the best in the league that's playing right now? I don't think so.
No, Shaun White. I'm sorry. Shaun White's better. Leggio, when he was in his prime, better.
Was he the best 3 years ago? Maybe.
I mean,
maybe. He's at the twilight of his career. He's not going to.
There was no season 3 years ago, but
you know what I meant. He's not going to kick another 370 field goals to try to come close to the man.
He could though.
To be the man, you have to beat the man. He's not going to beat the man. He got the record for the most consecutive field goals because of a stupid effing rule.
Technicality, which is by definition the rules. I have to put on my rule hat here. It is by definition the rules. You can powder put it all you want. It's the rules.
So anyway,
they decide
to. He kicks a 50. Where were we? He kicks a 53-yard field goal to tie the game.
And it goes into overtime. And if you've never watched overtime in the CFL, let me tell you, it can be a lot of fun. It can also be full of stupidity. And let me tell you, this is where I wanted to lose my shit at both Dickinson brothers. If I had one of their phone numbers, they were getting multiple text messages from them. Because
it was already a long enough game without overtime. That game was 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3 hours and 20 minutes before overtime.
And the first half was a boring first half, which makes the time feel so much slower. I would love to see
6 beer.
I would love to see the quarter by quarter number breakdown, which we will never get from TSN for that game, because you will see an audience that disappears, and then comes back for the fourth quarter in overtime.
Oh, 100%.
But they go into overtime. I believe Calgary takes the ball first. Yeah, they do. Yes. Calgary takes the ball first. They go down, they get stopped, they kick a field goal. Saskatchewan goes down, kicks themselves the field goal. Now Saskatchewan.
Hold on. You forgot.
Wait, I forgot something here. Saskatchewan.
Nope. Calgary first.
Was it Calgary first or Saskatchewan first?
Calgary roughing the passer.
Oh God. So there's a play. Jake Myers drops back, throws the ball, and a guy touches him. I think I touched myself harder here than he actually got hits.
He doesn't even fall down.
He doesn't fall down. He doesn't even recoil from anything. And he's tapping his helmet, pointing at the bench, looking at the referee like he missed something. And I'm like, okay, maybe I missed something, because it happens where a player will go by and grab a face mask or give a good shove to the head. And then they show the replay. And I swear to you, I yelled so loud at the TV here that my roommate playing video games, the guys he was playing video games with, heard it. Because if you're calling that a roughing the passer penalty, let's just take off the pads and play patty cake. So that took way too long to determine if that was a penalty or not.
Well, and let's stop there. That's where the issue was for me, was when they took as long as they did. And of course, when you're at the game.
Sorry, for those who aren't watching, DJ just chatted in quotes, I think I touched myself harder Jake 2023. You're welcome. You're welcome for the quote of the year.
TJ, I love you. That's awesome. That was perfect. So when you're at the stadium, they're not showing the replay on the screen.
Yes, they're not allowed to show the replay until after the.
You're waiting 5, 6, 7 minutes. I think it might have been that long. I don't know how long. I didn't have a clock on.
I don't think it was that long. I mean, there's no commercial breaks in overtime.
It seems like forever.
To me, I literally was like, "Oh my god, they're going to call this a penalty," and they're determining.
So did I. And we had two young fellows sit next to me, not the regular guys that sit in our season seats, but two young guys, Calgary fans. They were convinced they were going to call it, and we were all like, "I didn't see it," and they're like, "I didn't see it." Of course, they come back. They say, ruling on the field stands, no roughing the passer. We look up at the big screen, and we all laugh. We literally laugh because Jake touches himself harder than that.
I do.
Then they kick a field goal.
They kick a field goal. Saskatchewan now has the ball. They
drive down the field. They kick a field goal.
No. They drive down the field.
Yeah, they're at the 35.
You started at 35. Line. You could just kick a field goal from there.
Yes.
But moving
on. Basically, that's what they did.
Yeah, I honestly don't think they got a first down.
I don't think so.
I don't remember though. But then Saskatchewan goes again.
We go mini game number 2.
Yeah, so Saskatchewan starts with the ball. They go down on a 2nd and long. They throw a pass close to the end zone. And they're lining up to go for a field goal. And then there's a challenge flag on the field.
Now, I got to tell you, nothing pissed me off more than that call because, A, nobody announced sweet a bugger all in the stadium. We didn't know it was being challenged. We didn't know anything for the first 2 or 3 minutes of that.
So even on TSN, they come out of like a replay, and they were getting ready to show the kickoff, and they're like, "Oh, there's a challenge on the play." And TSN, I'm not a huge fan of their announcing all the time. They've gotten better the last couple of years.
Yes, they've got a couple better people.
I believe it was Dunnigan, and he even said, he's like, "I don't know why either of these were a challenge." And he's like, "And I wish the referees would get, when they announce it, said, 'Nice try, let's go.'" Because that's what it is. It's like, might as well throw it.
Needless to say, and we were talking about it again amongst the group of people who have season tickets, and we're all like, well, the issue is, in overtime, you have no timeouts. So there's no penalty for failing what's the word I'm looking for?
Challenge.
Failing a challenge. So why not try it? And you can't blame the coaches because they're playing within the rules. They've got to change the rule.
I can blame the coaches because it's a waste of time. You're wasting everyone's time.
Well, but if because you remember now, when you're challenging, do they not look at the whole play?
No, that is the largest misconception.
Is it?
They look at the play. So if they're challenging for pass interference, they're looking at receiver pairing 1, receiver 2, receiver 3, receiver 4, receiver 5. That's it. If there's a holding, that won't get called, but anything on the receivers. So
why not try it?
So in the Saskatchewan case, yes, I understand that to a degree more. In Calgary's case, the only thing they're looking at is they've got a camera on Mayer, and he's standing there, and he gets tapped on the shoulder saying, "Hey, good series," basically, and he's freaking out like he got shot by a bullet, like absolutely insane. Then let's just finish the game before we go into the next conversation about this. So then Rough Riders fail that challenge. They kick a field goal. Stampeders come down. They get a first down. They're 2nd and 6, I believe.
Yep.
And they, in my head, literally, you take the tie here. You try to run the ball, and if you don't make it, you take the tie, because in the regular season, there's only 2 mini games.
Yeah, so it would end in a tie. So at least you're getting a point.
So Now, I understand the throw, and we talked about this. I understand a throw play. Do you send everyone into the end zone like they did? No.
And you don't roll your quarterback out to the short side of the field.
No. If you're going to roll your quarterback out, or he's flushed out, he needs to know to run to the far side of the field.
It might have been the far side.
It wasn't. It was the short side.
It was the short side. It was literally snap the ball, roll out. It wasn't he was flushed.
He didn't get flushed.
The play call.
He rolled out and forced it into traffic.
Yes.
And
just before this play happened, I said to people around us, okay, guys, don't do anything stupid. Now, you got to remember, I'm not a Stamps fan, but I do have Stamps season tickets. So when it doesn't affect my Lions, I cheer for the Stamps. In this game, I put money on Riders, and on my pick'em, I picked the Riders, which, by the way, Jake, they fixed. It is.
You told me that on Sunday.
Okay. Long story, guys. So I'm like, okay, don't do anything stupid like throw an interception.
Throws it right into traffic, right into the hands of a waiting
coverage.
Right into the hands. Literally, I swear, if you threw that ball any better to the receiver who caught it, you'd be targeting him. Like, it was into his hands. He
didn't look anywhere else, Jake. It was, I'm throwing it. People, neon lights, that's the guy getting the ball. Run to him.
Who did he study under? Look at Bo Levi in big games and big moments. What does he do? He finds his target and he stares at it. And he stares at it and he throws it in, and he throws it into the defensive arms.
Yes.
He did it in a Grey Cup.
He did. Needless to say, Edmonton intercepts and game over.
Saskatchewan intercepts.
What did I say?
Edmonton.
Game over. Calgary's now 1-2. Riders are 2-1. What other team is 2-1?
Winnipeg.
So are the Riders better than Winnipeg? Is Calgary better than Winnipeg?
No.
They have the same. They must be the same because the stat.
Calgary is 1-2.
No, I meant the Riders and Winnipeg.
No.
Sorry.
No, now you can say that substantially no because Winnipeg beat the Riders.
But that they're tied in the standings.
They're tied. Well, no, they're not because differential is the next thing that goes. I know that's shocking to a lot of people. My big takeaway from this game, and it has nothing to do with the actual game itself. The CFL needs to look into this, and there's going to be an article going up tomorrow morning. The CFL needs to implement a penalty very similar to what the NHL had to do due to ridiculous-looking offsides challenges. Is penalize a team. I don't care about touching their timeouts. Penalize a team, and I'm calling it a delay of game penalty because how it will work. Delay of game penalty in the last 2 minutes of play or in overtime is a loss of downs.
I like it.
Now, something I realized, you can't challenge in the last 2 minutes of either half. All challenges from that point are done from upstairs. So the only time that's super detrimental is when there's no clock.
In overtime.
And in overtime, you lose a down.
And that's detrimental. That's game over.
That's a difference between both of them throwing their flags and neither of them throwing their flags.
Yes. 100%. That game's over 15, 20 minutes earlier.
And you know what? It's going to make the games that much quicker because you're not going to challenge we might as well challenge this one.
And I mean, I'm going to pick on the refs just a little bit, the officials. It was a tough game for them. And I really enjoyed it, and I'll explain why. I think there was 3. It could be 2, but I'm going to say 3 times where they had to huddle, spend over a minute, maybe 2, 3 minutes. And then after review from the command center, there is no blank, whether that be pass interference, whether that be just there is no flag. Twice it was just no flag. They didn't say what they were reviewing. After review from the command center, that's got to be done quicker. That's got to be quick. if you're going to make it has to be obvious if you're going to make that change, and the referee can't have a say in it. Command center has to just go, boom, done, pick up that flag.
They can't.
I know they can't. I'm talking about my perfect little world with a pink sky and rainbows and unicorns and dragons.
You would need to have multiple referees in the booth in Toronto.
Well, they do.
No, they don't. They do not have multiple referees. They have multiple camera people and multiple technology people. They've got one official in there. No, they do. They only have one official in the booth. That's it.
Used to be Jake Ireland. Jake used to hate him.
I did. I think he was literally one of the worst refs to ever ref in the CFL.
I have to see if there's any Rod stories about Jake Ireland. I bet you there is.
I would love to hear them, because from the one story I have of Jake Ireland, the bottle of whiskey stories that we as fans used to make up, pretty true. Pretty true.
Hilarious.
The last game of the week. Argonauts 43, Edmonton on. I can honestly say I watched 0 seconds and 0 minutes and 0 seconds of this game.
We did watch it.
Things going on.
We had made plans to watch some wrestling. There was a AEW Hidden Door. Oh, sorry, Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door.
And which I might add, it was one of the greatest matches I've ever watched in my life in it. If you're a wrestling fan, message me. We can talk about it. But I did watch the highlights.
Okay, so we do have some insight. Okay, I'll bring the score back.
I did watch the highlights. 1,352. What is that number?
1,352? I don't know.
1,352 days since Edmonton has won at home.
That's brutal.
19 straight they've lost at home. There's only one team in pro sports that has done worse, and it's a baseball team that I can't think of the name right now. It's pathetic. They are the score does look like it's better. That
was all in the last bit of the fourth quarter.
Well, no, Edmonton kept it close. Edmonton was only down by 1 at half, but allowed Toronto to score 18 points in the third. Let me rephrase that. Let Toronto score 18 unanswered points in the third to blow it open. So Edmonton again, 19 in a row. I don't know the answer. You heard all kinds of people today yelling and screaming for Jones's head. The Twitter machine was flying. Facebook groups were flying.
Something needs to happen. I'm sorry. I understand Chris Jones is a winning coach and he's won everywhere he's gone.
But he's never winning there.
And he's never been a GM before.
So do we take the GM away from Jones and make just head coach?
I saw your comment on Rod Peterson's status. I believe it was Rod Peterson's status.
Yeah, it was Rod Peterson's commentary. If you guys like sports, read Rod Peterson's commentary. He puts it out every single day on rodpeterson.com. Well worth the read. We should start sharing that commentary on to HughesSports.ca, by the way.
We can't, but okay. Continue on.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So take away the GM from Jones, and you got Drew there. You got Drew Simon, my man, the man,
who was born and bred under Wally Buono,
and
in the front office.
He's literally got Wally on his speed dial. Because Wally is still the special consul general,
special advisor, special consult,
king of sports for Edmonton. I don't get how that happened. They gave him a lot of money because he's still a BC Lions fan, so he might actually be giving him wrong information to make BC look good. I'm not sure. I love Wally. Wally, you're the best because he watches our show.
Of course. And you're on first name basis with the Godfather.
Yeah. So. Do you do that? I don't think you fire Jones at this point. Outright fire him because it's a disaster. Every aspect of their game is.
You have to do something. Like this would be like if you or me went into work and we did absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And all these problems happened, and you go back to management. And you're like, management, you know what? You can't fire me yet because I'm going to figure it out.
I was flipping through Twitterverse before we came on the air, and I saw Michael Ball. Michael Ball is the Homer voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's not the Riders. He's not the voice of the Riders because that still belongs to somebody else. This guy tweets out, I don't know if you saw it yet, Jake. Edmonton is in the midst of working a deal with BC to take Evans.
So just to be clear, that started from a tweet earlier in the day that said, if I was Chris Jones, I would be on the phone with BC because they have Dane Evans.
But that's a if I was. That's not. This is a guy who claims to be an insider in frickin' CFL and says, no, the Edmonton's going to get Dane Evans. Who in the hell does Edmonton have that BC would give up Evans? No one.
Simon.
That's funny because that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, gee, right?
Really,
it's not happening. The guy's a bonehead. He puts out stupid freaking tweets just to try to make himself feel important. Dude, you're the worst announcer in the league. I've listened to you. You're horrible. This is a guy that screams at the top of his lungs when the snap hits the quarterback.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot to cheer about in very flat land they got.
Rectangle life.
I heard that. If you yell something, it'll bounce back eventually, and he likes the sound of his own voice.
Exactly. Anyway, way off topic.
And we've talked about it a couple times throughout, the 55 minutes we've gone talking about the CFL when it was supposed to be a CFL light show. HughesSports.ca. We are having some issues with HughesSports.ca, and I want to preface this by saying they are being fixed. It is a secure website. If you get the error that says it's not secure, shoot us a message. I will make sure you're at the right website. It is because we have swapped everything over and we have a brand new and improved, beautiful website that is having technical errors up the yin-yang that I've been dealing with since last Thursday.
Jake convinced me to do this. It's all Jake's fault. Blame Jake.
You know what? When it's done,
blame Jake.ca.
No, don't blame Jake.ca. That used to be a website.
Yes.
It will get fixed.
It will get
fixed. I've been told within 24 to 48 hours of earlier this morning, it would be fixed. So,
and if not, we'll get our money back.
If at the latest, it'll be Wednesday, it'll be fixed.
Okay.
So, on HughesSports.ca, we are posting the most articles we have ever posted.
Yes.
Because the CFL is full swing, and this is where the old man apparently has decided to start writing articles.
I love the CFL. CFL loves me.
We also have, both of us love the CFL and have different insights.
Yes.
On it.
You mean we don't agree?
Shocking. I know. Are we extending this show just until we get through the NHL Draft stuff? Because
if you're listening, it's going to go at least 15, 20 minutes longer.
At least, because we're doing this. If we're extending it, we're going to do the CFL Power Rankings, Week 3 reveal. And you know what the fun part is you don't know any of the rankings this week.
No, I don't. But let's talk about extending. Why don't we, instead of extending this episode, when's the draft?
The draft is Wednesday night.
Why don't we do a show Thursday for the draft?
Should be doable.
I say that. I guess I should look to make sure I'm not.
There is a football game on Thursday.
But it's not here.
Oh, no, there's not. There's only 3 games this week. Never mind.
Yeah, because the game this week is we're in what day? Where are we? We're in June. Let's do it. Let's do a special podcast on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. What do you think there, big guy? Did we make an executive decision? If not, this is going to go 2 hours.
That is true, and because there is a lot to cover. And then on the Thursday show, we can discuss what happened at the draft and look forward to free agency and all the different trades that would have happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, before I go, breaking news, literally breaking news.
Breaking news.
Quinn Hughes, because it is NHL awards night tonight. Quinn Hughes finished 9th in Norris voting, which I think is a disgrace. 9th.
Yeah, it's just.
He got a single first place vote and 2 second place votes. The fact that Quinn Hughes is being overlooked, and this might be a culpable moment. This might piss off some people. The fact that Quinn Hughes is being overlooked at this point in his career is asinine, because he is playing on a team that is, and I say this as a huge Canucks fan, absolute dog shit on the defensive front. And when he makes it, and when the team figures it out, it'll be the media will be behind Hughes like he was always their pick to be better than Makar.
I have watched Canucks since I was 6 years old, 1970.
You're old.
Every single time we have one of those players who should be in the top of the league and should be winning awards, they don't. Because we're a West Coast team, that all the votes are made by East Coast media who don't watch the Canucks unless they're in Canuckville or over in Eastville. Don't media. You wave your finger at me.
It's not done by media. It's done by GMs.
Well, they're all dumb.
Because they're not staying up until midnight their time to watch a Canucks game.
Thank you.
What they should be doing is changing the way the voting is done, and I don't know how you fix it.
I don't. Do you do it by plus? There's so many different stats now that I'm sure they have to have some stat person that can figure this.
This is a whole thing that we can get into.
It fucking pisses me off. I'm tired of it.
Except for the time the Sedins won all the trophies. We can't forget that. I know
and literally you could see the pain on the faces of people who had to award those trophies to the Sedins.
No. The pain was the people who awarded the trophies were fine. It was Gary Bettman and the media of the
That's
NHL.
Who I was looking at. Yes, I agree. Anyways,
but that's a whole thing we can go on for hours on.
Thursday, a full hour of nothing but NHL talk.
NHL, draft talk, trade talk, free agency, because I have a gut feeling, and it's not going away for the last week or so, that Patrick Allvin is going to make a big move.
You know what? It was really weird. My other hat that I wear, I do mediumship and I connect with spirit guides. Won't go too deep into that. But I woke up this morning and I was convinced. I literally grabbed my phone before I got out of bed because I was convinced the Canucks made the biggest trade ever in their career. And I was
that's a bold statement, because the biggest trade so far in Canucks history would be trading to get pick number 2 and pick number 3, Daniel Henrik-Sedin. I don't think you can make a trade that big unless Chicago is willing to give up Bedard.
You're not getting Bedard.
No, you're not getting.
Can you get Bedard the second pick? Can you get the second pick? Because who's in second? Just Anaheim. The highest scoring guy next to Bedard. Yeah, there was a 40-50 point spread between the two.
Adam Fantilli. You're not getting Adam Fantilli.
What do you have to give up? Do you have to give up
Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, and Demko? All 3 of them. That will get you.
Miller?
No.
Do you throw Miller in there? Oh, now you want to keep Miller. Jesus Christ, you drive me fucking crazy, kid.
No, I'm not saying I want to keep Miller. I'm saying Miller and the 11th overall does not get you the 2nd overall pick.
Okay, let's leave this for Thursday because you're going to raise my blood pressure and I'm old.
No, I want to say something right now, and I'm going to say it. No, I want to say it for the record, and it's what I want to get into, and I did a lot of research on. The Canucks are going to make a big trade. That's the gut feeling I have. If they're making a big trade, they are going to be picking 5th overall.
And you know what? That would be good.
And they're going to take the Russian prospect, the guy who no one really is sure about, except for the guys who have had meetings with him, and the Canucks have had meetings with him, in Michkov. If Michkov is available, whichever pick they pick, and I have a feeling number 5 is that pick.
What position does he play?
I believe he is a forward.
Yeah. You have to check
Which I think is an interesting pick, but there are ways that he can buy himself out of a contract in the KHL. If he buys himself out of a contract in the KHL with, say, a really nice signing bonus.
Is there going to be a KHL?
we're not going to get into politics on this, but the coup has failed.
Has it?
But let's jump into this because we're going way over time.
Okay. CFL Power Rankings by Jake Hughes of HughesSports.ca. Start at the bottom.
Starting at the bottom, we're going to zoom in here so you guys can see this if you're watching. In number 9th, do you have any guesses as to who the 9th place team is? The man screaming at the TV.
Edmonton
Elks have not moved from their bottom position at 9th overall. And I think I put one line in here and I just said it's going to be a long season, Elk fans.
Yep. Number 8.
Do you have a guess as to who number 8 is?
Ottawa?
The Hamilton Tiger Cats.
You could go either way in the next two. 7-8 could flip. To me,
and the main reason is the point differential is big enough that I think that, and the fact that they're still without a true starting goalie, even though Schultz showed promise, that you can't have that. What are you beeping?
Oh, sorry. I was turning my fan up. Can you hear the fan?
I cannot hear the fan. I heard the beeping.
Good. Okay.
So, after the Hamilton Tiger Cats at number 7, we have the Ottawa Red Blacks moving up.
You just switched them, basically.
Those two just swapped.
Yeah.
From the Ottawa Red Blacks at number 6, do you have a guess who number 6 is?
I'm going to say Calgary.
Calgary Stampeders is correct. They moved down a spot. They moved down a spot from last week's rankings because they got beat by the team that was above them, and I cannot place the Calgary Stampeders above the team that beat them. Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Okay, now let's take a deep breath, everybody. Everybody calm down. We're going to go to the top 4. I don't want the internet to break, okay? You guys need to realize this is power rankings according to Jake Hughes, and I agree with them.
Based on facts that the actual stats that I use, and I use them in order of head-to-head record, point differential. Because that is how your both offense and defense are performing. I don't care if you can score 120 points, but if you allow 111, your defense sucks.
So in number 4...
In saying that, we have at number 4, and this is going to break the internet again this week.
I knew you were going to break the internet.
We have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers moving down 2 positions.
For 2 reasons. Do we have to hire security for you? The Smurf Mafia is pretty tough, you know.
You know what? I don't think the Smurf Mafia might come at me again. And
you guarantee? You think they're going to come after you? You think?
And I'm just going to lay it out again in very simple terms. Look at the point differential, and the 3 teams ahead of you are undefeated. How is any? And I've seen the 3 Down Nation ones. How are you putting any team that has a loss on their record ahead of a team that has?
Totally agree.
No losses. In the 3rd position, we have the Toronto Argonauts.
Okay. Don't go too fast. Talk about it first.
I explained everything I needed to with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They lost in horrific fashion, and if you ask Blue Bomber fans, it's because they didn't show up. If you ask CFL fans, it's because BC played defense very, very well. Better than any team has played defense probably in the last 10 years. Maybe in the last 23 years of my memory.
Sorry,
Toronto.
I don't know.
Are you tweeting out? No one can read that. No one can read that. You can put that as close as you want. No one can read that.
Yeah, you can read that now.
No, I cannot.
Breaking the internet again. Smurf Mafia is ranked 4th in the power rankings.
Number 3, Toronto Argonauts. They played very well this past week. Chad Kelly has proven again and again that maybe the TSN hype and the Toronto Sports Network really building him up. Maybe they know something we didn't.
Chad Kelly is amazing. I think they're going to put on a better performance in week 4 against BC than the Bombers did.
I wonder, and it's not something that I don't think too many people have talked about, is how good is it Chad Kelly, or how good is the team around Chad Kelly? Because The Argonauts won the Grey Cup last year. Let's not forget that.
With Chad Kelly. Remember that.
Yeah. Like
Bethel Thompson came out.
Did he come out? I don't remember. I honestly don't remember the Grey Cup last year. It's a blur in my brain.
Bethel Thompson came out and they put Chad Kelly in, and he's literally the reason they won the cup.
Yeah. So I think this Toronto team is really good. And they're going to stay really good. And that's why they didn't move positions. And now, of course, the only team that is 3-0 in the league has a double-digit point differential. Your favorite and mine. The BC Lions are number one.
The only thing I would disagree, I would have put Toronto second and Montreal third.
Point differential is a huge factor, and I'm going to keep hammering that home. Yeah, point differential is huge. Montreal Alouettes have played some medium teams, but they've made those medium teams pay.
They did. Good. I like your power rankings. I'm not going to fight them. I'm not going to disagree to the point of getting all worked up.
There will be an article posted, including reasonings, with the image on Wednesday. I will be posting this image later tonight in the Facebook group. So if you see it and you're a fan, please comment on it. Please tell me you're how angry you are if you're a Blue Bomber fan. Please tell me you love me if you're a Lions fan. And if you remember week 2's power rankings, just put like a little LOL in there because, again, I know football. I'm a huge Lions fan. But if the Lions suck, I'm going to be the first one banging that beat that the Lions suck. And this Lions team is one of the best teams defensively that we have seen in many years. Offensively, they have a long way to improve. Now, they've also had issues with Bethel Thompson, with Dominic Rhymes and Lucky Whitehead being healthy, and they should both be healthy and at practice on Wednesday. Oops. So, in my dreams here, the Lions offense is only going to improve with more time with VA3 at the head and the whole team together, that you can't not have the Lions up at the top. Edmonton Elks bottom. Those two, the Elks, I don't think anyone can argue with. I don't think anyone this week can argue with the Lions. I guarantee you people are going to argue my fourth and my second and my third.
Oh, guaranteed.
And I can tell you this, and I'll say it over and over and over again. How can you put a team that has not lost below a team that has lost? I don't care if they lost to the number one ranked.
There's 3 teams that are undefeated. They have to be 1, 2, 3. You choose which way you want to put them, people. We believe BC Lions should be number 1 for obvious reasons, not just for the fact that we're huge BC Lions fans, but they are the top of the league. They have set the bar this season. Montreal, Toronto, you can discuss whether it should be 2-3, 3-2. It doesn't matter.
And I had some very good conversations about that with Rider fans and Stamps fans, because they're like, hey, I would have put them above. And my reply always is, this is the reason why I put them here. If you are respectful to me.
I've had to tell people, if you're that upset about HughesSports.ca's power rankings, I have a suggestion. Wait.
I have an even better suggestion. It's a bold suggestion.
What's that?
You take the social media apps, you delete them from your phone, you go touch grass outside, inhale some fresh air, exhale some bad juju, and you'll be amazed at how much better your life is.
I actually had to ask people if they needed hugs last week.
It blows my mind how I get getting worked up. I do. You guys have seen me on this podcast. I get worked up over silly shits. But if you guys honestly think that I walk around my life that riled up, you're insane.
You mean you don't?
I don't show it all the time.
I had to actually say that on air with Rod the other day with my whole Smurf Mafia comments. And people were like, they were getting angry at me. And I was like, people, If you can't understand that this is a joke, this is fun, I do this as a kibitz, I do this as a stick, I do this as a routine. Like Jake said, you need to take you need to take all your social media apps, put them into a ball. You need to turn that sumbitch sideways. And what's the saying?
And shove it up your candy ass.
Okay, let's quickly go through week 4 because we're way over time.
We're way over time. Time doesn't even exist anymore.
So week 4, go ahead.
Sorry. This is why I respect the hell out of people like Rod and radio shows who have a set time that they have to stick to, because they'll be like, they'll be in the middle of a thought and they'll be like, and you know what? We'll hold that. We'll come back to it after break.
Can you imagine if we have to have commercials?
We've gone a minute. We've gone an hour and 15, and I don't think there's been a spot for us to actually take a natural commercial break.
So let's look forward to week 4 in the CFL, Jake. Let's do our picks.
I have our picks up.
Week Friday.
Friday, we have Edmonton at Ottawa, June 30th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. The old man, I just want to update everyone. You have a record going in to this week at 11-4, or 11-1. Sorry, I have a record of 8-4 because I have fallen behind, and sometimes when you're falling behind, you need to swing for them fences.
So I thought you said you had the.
I have them up for my screen. Did we want to put them on the?
Oh, I thought you were going to put them up. That's okay. Don't put them up.
Oh, no. Okay. I can put them up. It'll take me 30 seconds.
So Edmonton at Ottawa.
Edmonton at Ottawa. You, in your article that I was proofreading today, took a underdog here that I couldn't not take the favorite for. Because Edmonton is going into Ottawa, and you have said that you're taking Edmonton by a field goal. If I remember reading that correctly.
3.5 points.
I cannot, under any circumstances, take the Elks. And I'm taking the Red Blacks.
What's Ottawa's record?
Almost identical to Edmonton.
However, this game's a toss-up. Let's face it.
I don't think so. Adams has looked better than Cornelius has in the game and a quarter we've seen him.
Okay, so you're taking Ottawa?
I'm taking Ottawa.
Woo-wee. I can't remember.
Game number 2.
I can't remember who I took.
Huh. Saturday, July 1st, Canada Day for those in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Winnipeg at Montreal, 4 p.m. Pacific time. The old man has stuck to his Western roots this game and has taken Winnipeg to defeat Montreal.
I think I put my 7 and I deleted that.
I honestly don't remember. Sorry, as I start coughing here.
Anyway,
I don't remember your points for this one. I just remember your.
I don't think I put points. I just took Winnipeg because I did say 7, then I took it off. I can't see Winnipeg coming out and not winning. They're not going to lose 2 in a row. They're too good.
And that's where I disagree. I think this loss is going to shake them to their core. It's been a long time that they've been manhandled like that. Because let's face it, the losses they've had in the last few years have been close nail-biter losses.
Yes.
Including the Grey Cup last year against Toronto.
So you're taking Montreal?
I'm taking Montreal.
Man, I'm going to stretch my lead over this kid. He's going to be looking up. He's going to think I'm a freaking giant.
And the Monday game this week, July 3rd.
Game of the week, in my opinion.
I think... To be fair, there's 2 games of the week.
Yes, there is. Winnipeg, Montreal, Toronto. You could toss them up. I'm biased. I don't freaking care. I'm biased. I still think the BC game is going to be way more fun to watch.
I think for you, no matter what, a BC Lions game is more fun for you to watch than most other games.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That Stamps game was pretty fun to watch.
It was. BC Toronto. BC going into Toronto. 2 teams that used to be owned by the same owners.
Do you remember that? Brady.
Just so if you're an American, you're watching. Yes, at the same time, they were owned by the same people.
And yes, there was trades.
No. So the sketchiest thing that ever happened, I can't remember the player's name that did it, but they went down into the States for an NFL tryout. They came back, and BC was supposed to have the rights to this player.
Yes.
However, magically, by some voodoo magic, Toronto had the rights to this player.
No, they traded the rights to Toronto for like a 12th, 13th round draft pick.
No, there was never any trade on the books. There was never a trade on the books.
Didn't they end up trading that player back to BC?
I believe so.
It was a defensive player.
I know it was a defensive player, but I don't remember who it was.
It was a big name.
Not big enough to make the NFL, so.
Well, lots of big names didn't make the NFL.
But of course, I'm going to say we have both chosen the BC Lions to win this game.
It's going to be a close one.
I was going to say, I think this is going to be the toughest test for BC.
Yeah.
There's now enough footage of whatever Ryan Phillips is doing with the defense that they're going to be able to find some holes.
Yes.
I'm
hoping Phillips is smart enough that he can change it up, and because that's what he's done so far.
Yep, and not just from game to game, from half to half, he's come out and shown completely different looks.
Exactly.
And if you're watching this week and you see a big play happen, and it's zone coverage, know that if I'm watching the TV with you, I am yelling at the TV about zone coverage because it is a staple in the CFL. And it is the worst coverage that you can possibly have in the CFL because you get burned by it 3 out of 4 plays. The quarterbacks have too much time. That's my tiny little quick rant for the day.
There you go.
Well, Jake, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone for almost half hour of overtime. So I want to remind you that on Wednesday,
it's draft day
at 4 p.m. Pacific time, the NHL Draft is taking place. And if you want to get some live reactions, I'm going to be live tweeting on the Hughes Sports Twitter while it's happening. The Canucks right now have the 11th overall, and I do believe that they are going to be making big moves. And I don't know what the big move is that I feel in my gut, but I feel like on draft day, and I don't think it's going to happen beforehand, I think on draft day, they're going to make a trade of huge proportion, very similar to the Corey Schneider for the 5th overall pick that ended up becoming Bo Horvat. It's going to be that level of pick.
Very well, very, very well could.
And Patrick Allvin needs to put his stamp on this team, and I think this is the draft to do it.
Well, if he doesn't, we got a long time to get to where we need to be. So, Thursday, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tune in. We'll be talking NHL and nothing but NHL, so help us God.
Make some moves, do something big, do something crazy. But we have gone crazy overtime.
Speaking
the old man's the old man's got a pee or something, I'm sure at this point. He's got a smoke. He's old. His bladder's starting to go. So with that, like us on Twitter at HSP_pod, Facebook at HSP pod. We will be posting again on Twitter and Facebook all sorts as the NHL draft goes on. Like and subscribe on Facebook. And the old man is making faces at me off screen here, and he thinks it's hilarious, but I'm just going to keep dragging it on until he's back, because we will see you guys here in 3 short days, Thursday, to go over the NHL draft and prepare you for free agency frenzy. Have yourselves a wonderful few days.
Pushing the button.